Hey YouTube, Prometheus13 here. Let's talk about a little bit of One Piece. So, today I was pondering over one of my favorite things to read in One Piece, and it's a few words. Whenever I see it in a bubble, it gives me chills, and that's Captain's Orders. I mean, every time we hear Captain's Orders, usually it's showcasing Luffy's own, in my opinion, savant level intellect, where he doesn't seem like he's too intelligent, but realistically it's just him being completely in tune with himself and just, acting completely like himself, never modifying his behavior to, make others comfortable, just always being existing with the understanding that he could completely be himself, and that if people are off put or uncomfortable, that that it doesn't have anything to do with him. That's on them. It's something to do with themselves. And I mean, like, we see this time and time again, and it's like it's not always just pointed out as Captain's Orders. I mean, I would definitely say that his rationality to make Momo have to be the person to ask him for him and his crew and the Alliance's help to essentially liberate Wano from, the Orochi, the evil Orochi, and Kaido's control. And, that right there, I'm just saying, like, Luffy has an ability to see the bigger picture unlike any person truthfully gives him credit for. I think that he himself, coming out of the 2-year time skip, really refined the level of wisdom that he already had. I don't know if that's just like some sort of ability with observation hockey that, like, hasn't been talked about yet or what, but I mean, just to put it blatantly, Luffy is very smart. Statements that don't usually get made right there. Luffy is very smart. His ability to pinpoint out an enemy's not just weakness, but overall fighting style. I mean, now, a lot of people, I've seen, like, I put a video out on Scratchman Poo, and, I didn't go full into depth because I thought it would kind of blend into this video, so, I mean, this will just kind of go straight off of that. I mean, we had this interaction in this last portion of the manga, alright, so if you're not caught up, that right there tells you this will, from this point on, be spoilers. You should stop watching and go read. With that being said, in the Chapter 980, Scratchman Poo essentially, not just once, but twice, gets 2 clean hits in on Luffy, and gets a clean hit in on Zoro, alright? And no one really shares what happens, and I mean, it's just blowing up all over the community, just with, like, oh, Scratchman Poo, you know what I mean? Like, I saw the most ridiculously perplexing of titles, Scratchman Poo, Yonko level, confirmed. I don't want to get it wrong. This is no disrespect to any person making videos at this point. Like, if we're being honest, the people who are in the community right now doing videos, they're good. I watch a lot of the theorists. I watch a lot of people who do chapter reviews, and I said it in that Scratchman Poo video. I'm gonna stay away from chapter reviews because I think, who we got doing it, they're doing it very nice. I mean, I pretty much every chapter I listen to Brago DAs. Every chapter. I'll, always listen to Vinland D. Ragnar D. Vinland. I definitely feel like they're doing their jobs right, jobs. They're definitely on the source material. They know their stuff, and I would recommend any person watch their videos. But going back to this topic, Scratchman Poo is, I feel bad because it's like, I don't want to feel like I'm just going completely against the point of, like, what everybody else is saying, just for the sake of going against it, but I just don't see it the way that everybody else does. Scratchman Poo, in my opinion, he's still slightly scrubbish. Still a scrub. I mean, like, a lot of people have already said, clean 1v1. Scratchman Poo's not taking a W on any of our boys. None of the Monsters trio. I definitely don't think he could do anything against Jinbei. How intelligent Jinbei is, and, like, I'll definitely be making a video on the new Monster trio. the 3 right hands. But it's sad to say that, like, Scratchman and Pooh, we could see a lot of what's been said if he would not have seen Kid, if Kid would not have seen him more specifically. If he would have just kept his head down and, you know, kind of went on a transponder snare, like, hey, yo, Queen, Monkey D. Luffy, what's up? What are you doing? You know, then it could be a different scenario where we're like, okay, we're seeing some serious strength from Scratchman and Pooh, but I just think he messed up. Like that Punk Gibson was a clean hit. Smash this dude. Like, when you look at that paneling, like, yeah, all that you can see is like the right side of Scratchman and Pooh behind that giant metal hand. So, I mean, that goes into it again, where we don't know his devil fruit. We don't know if he has a paramecia or if he has a logia. I would guarantee that it was a paramecia, but if it is a logia, you know, that might not have been the cleanest hit to land on Scratchman and Pooh, and we might have ourselves a very nice fight between, you know, Eustace Kid and Scratchman and Pooh. But this will be a redemption fight. This will totally be the culmination of what happened in the Archipelago, you know, before the 2-year time skip, where they said, hey, you know, we'll meet in the new world. And, you know, Scratchman and Pooh, in the Scratchman and Pooh video, I said, I think he could have been working for Kaido all along. I think he could have always been under the Kaido wing. You know, and that his job is just to go out there and you know, be this dope who goats and gets people, you know, tricks very strong people into bad situations where they come across the King of Beasts himself. And, you know, with that being said, I think that we're about to see the showcase of exactly what I'm talking about, with my love for just a few words every time I hear them. Captain's orders. You know, when I was reading the Whole Cake Island arc, Luffy goes to the mirror, he tells Nami, break all the mirrors, you know, and then Nami starts doing so. Chopper freaks out a little bit, and in my opinion, the way that Chopper freaks out is kind of how the community and the fans react to stuff, you know, and it's like you have to just remain calm. Assume that, you know, plot armor runs deep, or that, you know, that these characters know what they're doing, that they at least have some semblance of a plan when they're going against these immovable forces. Like Yonko, we're just like Kaido's crew alone, just with everything that's happened in Wano, going from Whole Cake Island straight to Wano. You know, I think Oda did a very good job of displaying to us the true strength of a Yonko's crew. Like, you know, we got, you know, the 4 Sweets commanders, or 4 Sweet generals, which, you know, obviously, you know, we were down to 3, and then we know that Cracker, we know that he got smacked, you know what I mean? And then Katakuri, in all seriousness, we do know that he took an L. I don't think the Big Mom can be demoting 2 generals, leaving herself with only 1. So, you know, hard to say what went with that. We'll definitely be seeing that here in the future arcs. But man, I don't know, man. It's just it's a coin toss for sure. You can theorize a lot of different scenarios from are gonna happen. You know, I'm personally on my own, like one of the first videos I did, Straw Hat Grand Fleet. I'm on my own personal opinion that the Straw Hat Grand Fleet will show up in Wano. You know, it will solidify Luffy the power. It'll just solidify the power, because that's what Luffy's lacking right now. What Luffy's done with that tenacity, with the portion of his character that I have seen people attack, that willingness to rush in headstrong first, has earned him a reputation. That reputation is on par with a Yonko's. There is no debating that. There is no that he's not ready for that. His reputation has earned him the title, 5th Yonko. He needs to prove the strength now. The pull. Territory, he actually already has kind of sewed up. I mean, when you think about it, he does have territory sewed up. Like, if you just think back to all of the different places that he has visited and influenced well, you know, we already have 3 kings that love Monkey D. Luffy, you know, and that's just, you know, Nefertari's. We won't say 3 kings, but we got the Nefertari's, you know what I mean? We got the, not Riku, that's not his last name, but we got the Riku's dynasty, you know what I mean? The I don't want to say Dola, but we'll leave it at that. And then, you know, we'll end up with like the next biggest three. King Neptune, all right? Those three alone are three serious nations, you know? I mean, Doflamingo wanted to control one. That should tell you something. I mean, yeah, he has the past ties with it, but in the same junction, I think that there is something to be said about the fact that the initial kings that came to form the world government, about the territories that they came from. I mean, they were solidified powers, you know, for pretty serious reasons, we could say. Easily enough, we can say pretty serious reasons. Like, you know, whether it be that they had power, wealth, or recognition, I think each one of these people who formed the world government had notoriety. They had notoriety behind them other than just being kings, you know? And I would say that Doflamingo went for Dressrosa because, again, the fairy, the little people, the fairies, the Tatanas, all right? That we are aware of their ridiculous strength, and the diversity of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet is going to be something that Big Mom is going to be jealous of. I promise you. It's going to be something that she's very jealous of. And then to see the little people, oh, she's gonna freak out. And I'm on my own belief that we're going to see some very interesting stuff. Now, I know that we haven't seen the Big Mom Pirates yet, as of yet, and we are going to see them. There will be some conflict with them, for sure. But I'm not 100% on the notion that they are going to be 100% against the Allied forces. I do think that eventually we're going to see some of them helping Luffy. I think that we're gonna see a showcase of Luffy's ability to win people over to his side. And with that being said, you know, I think the Big Mom will definitely always be at him until the very end, until, you know, Chopper, you know, either cures her hunger pangs or, you know, Luffy has the strength to actually put her down. We'll definitely see that, but, you know, I definitely think that will be safe for Elbaf. I think it'll be safe for Elbaf because of the ties Big Mom has with Elbaf and the fact that Big Mom did kill their chief. Like, there's enough, like, Oda loves that, you know? Like, we can look at it and we can definitely say that Oda is a master of foreshadowing, and that in saying that he's a master of foreshadowing, we have enough arcs to see how he does it and how he likes to do it. You know, we can definitely see that Big Mom is not going fully down in Wano. And you have to think, like, what scenarios can happen where Luffy and the Allied forces are actually able to strong arm Orochi's forces and Kaido's forces while still getting away from Big Mom? I mean, it's a conundrum for sure, but I mean, this is going to showcase a bloody war, what it is actually like to be at war. And, you know, the team that takes the W in this particular game, in this particular war, the people who win this war are going to be the ones who have the most heart. And I mean, that's what we're definitely going in for, a show bigger than the Paramount War, easily. I definitely think we're going to see some remnants of the Whitebeard Pirates. I mean, if we're not getting Marco the Phoenix, you know for a fact that, I think her name's Izu? What's her name? Kiku's sister, essentially. Sister. I'm sorry, guys. I thought Kiku was a girl, and I thought that her brother was her sister. I mean, we obviously know Kabuki play, alright, whatever. So, anyways, his brother, like, coming to Wano. Why wouldn't he? He was originally a scabbard. The only reason that he ended up on Whitebeard's ship was because of the fact that Odin wanted to set sea and, you know, stowed away, and she chased him on there and just ended up liking them. Well, she's a division commander. I guarantee you she still has some of her division intact, and they are going to be coming to Wano. And I mean, they're Whitebeard pirates. That bond runs deep. It still means something. The ones that Weevil weren't able to destroy, they're going to be meeting up with Monkey D. Luffy, and I think that is also going to attract Weevil there. And I'm of my own opinion that, you know, we're going to see a culmination of a lot. Like, Achiro Oda, praise him, he is a master storyteller, and in these future arcs of Wano, we are going to see a full combination. We're going to find out what happened to the Shichibukai. We're going to find out what is truly up with Sabo. We're going to find out what happened to the Nefertari. we're gonna, like, the full combination of all of this is gonna happen. The only thing that I'm not sure, the only people I'm not sure are actually going to show up in Wano is Blackbeard. And I think that's because Blackbeard might have an inkling of knowledge of how much things are going to culminate. If anything, as much as I just makes me just despise, it's despicable to think it, Blackbeard's thinking the same lines that I am. That people, especially people who love the thrill of battle, can sense. They can smell a good fight. They'll sniff it out, man. They'll seek it out, and this is truthfully going to be one of the greatest fights. I mean, when you look at it this way, looking at Kaido's character and looking at Big Mom's character, these are people who are overwhelming forces. They are immovable objects. Whether you want to call them the unstoppable force or the immovable object, whichever way you look at it, we are about to see that exact scenario play out. Whether Luffy be the immovable object and the Yonko be the, unstoppable force, or Luffy being the unstoppable force, which I feel is more appropriate, and the Yonko being the immovable object. I mean, saying that they're immovable 100%, that's lenient, because what is Kaido looking for? Ironically enough, Luffy's bringing Kaido exactly what he wants: a great war, a truthfully great war. And this culmination of events, this culmination of things that's to happen, I mean, we're in for one hell of a spectacle. That's for sure. That is for sure. And I mean, again, like I said, like, Luffy is a genius, man. He is smart. He is smarter than people give him credit for. His personality, the overall quirkiness. I mean, I realistically, every time I see Luffy and I watch the way that he acts, I see it like the same way people look at mad geniuses. Like, until you go to the mad scientist's laboratory, if you just run into that dude on the street, you're like, that guy's insane. You think that dude's insane. You probably think he's homeless. He's probably dressed ridiculous. You probably you completely dismiss that person. And then you come across their evil, or not necessarily evil, but their, like, mad science laboratory. You know what I mean? They got Dexter's lab in their basement. And then you're just like, oh, wow. Okay. I get it. You just don't think like everybody else. That is Monkey D. Luffy. He sees big picture. He sees the big picture. And I, like, a lot of people said, like, oh, Luffy, he got X by the DJ, but that's not the case. It's, again, like, you have to look at it not as Luffy's just some, muscle brain moron looking for a fight. Like, he himself is smart. He sees the big picture. He knows that if he goes through, he probably could mop up a portion of Kaido's crew. Not a large portion of it, but with him and Zoro there, knowing that the other pieces of the alliance are not near. I mean, I'm sure that Luffy and Zoro could hold their own for a decent amount of time. Scratchman Apu took advantage of the fact that they would actually have to put effort and attention into that fight with what we would consider, we're calling fodder. Which, you have to understand, that's how the fighting system works in One Piece. It works a lot like the real world. Just because someone's stronger than you doesn't mean that you can't beat them in a fight. It depends on how you fight. I mean, any person who's ever took a trip to the hood knows that there's no such thing as a fair fight, but there is a such thing as a fight with honor. And, so it depends on the kind of fight that you want to have, and that is 100% what it is in One Piece. Like, they're pirates. Like, they're in the middle of pirate territory. It is much smarter on Luffy's part to retreat and he's actually doing exactly what the plan calls for him to do, which is to be a distraction. Him, Kid, and Zoro are doing exactly what they assume that Luffy's gonna do. And what Luffy does is rush in head first. That is what Luffy does. His crew understands this, and they support him in that. When they joined his pirate crew, it's not like he wasn't acting like this. It's not like they weren't aware that the person that they were getting on a boat with was literally what you would call that insane mad scientist. They're just insane. They are not people who think rationally. Why? Because their logic is wired different. Like, and it's just, it's so funny because, I was watching an interview, on a YouTuber I watched quite a bit. He he was interviewing one of the people who could be cast for Usopp in the new upcoming live-action One Piece series, and you know, this dude, he made a very good point. You know, Usopp is the dude on the crew who's constantly looking at these people like, this is just not normal. This is just not in the right expectation. And like, with how technologically savvy Usopp is, you see his intelligence, and there are points in time in the story where he does reference the fact that he himself is misled by Luffy's actions, by how Luffy acts. He should not have the level of intelligence that he does have, but he does, and that is showcased every single time Oda writes those words. Captain's orders. Anytime Luffy gives an order and it's captain's orders, it's usually for the betterment and the survival of the crew. I recently read somebody who I couldn't even fully understand why they watched One Piece if they truthfully felt these things about the main character, but essentially they were constantly downgrading Luffy's desire to constantly want to rush in, which, I mean, on a logical standpoint, when you're going into the constant unknown and there's a lot of, like, you know, lethalities, I don't know, there's a lot of dangerous things all around that are lethal to your life. You probably should formulate a plan, but that's not how Luffy acts. That's not how he operates. That would go away from the moniker that he set for himself when he was a child, which was to be the king of the pirates, not because of the fame, not because of the glory, not because of the profit, but for the freedom, so that he could be the most free pirate on the seas. He said most free pirate because that's realistically, in their world, the only way to truthfully be free, is to be a pirate. Being a revolutionary wouldn't even be fitting the same bills as being a pirate. And, you know, with that being said, you truthfully get a good understanding for just how Luffy is going to end up winning this fight. Like, realistically, this is going to showcase the reason why Luffy was named the 5th Yonko. And again, like, Oda's a master storyteller. I cannot wait to look back at this video and say, blew my expectations like a billion times over. My mind is blown. I had no idea that this was coming. But I'm going to wrap it up here because we're at like 20 minutes. Everybody have a fantastic day. I hope everything's going great for everyone. And if things are not going so well, I hope that this video helped you take your mind off of it for a little bit. Please like, please subscribe, go ahead and drop some comments. Let me know if you like these videos. If you want me to talk about something in specifics, go ahead and just drop that in the comments. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.